Tech Talk and Board Talk with Gunnar. Gunnar is shaper and athlete, part of the Indiana team for a very long time, and we're going to go through some boards for beginners, for advanced riders, for pro riders, so he can tell us best what are the features in those boards. Thank you, Gunnar, for your time.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, first of all, let's start for beginners. For beginners, we are continuing the Wingfoil all-around flat water boards. These are designed by Andy Wittmann. These boards are exceptionally good for beginners. They're great for beginners because they are actually quite wide. You've got a very nice, deep, concave, set-in deck, like a drop deck, that makes it very stable when you're standing in it. It is quite wide in the back. It's got a very even volume distribution, which means that you can stand almost anywhere on the board without sinking. This makes it very good for beginners. There are sizes from 135 down for these boards. Multiple foot strap positions on there. These we use V straps. That saves weight and makes things a lot simpler. There's a size for everybody. So if you're a beginner, this is the board for you. The newest trend in this year has been the mid-length boards. So you're asking, what are mid-length boards? Mid-length boards are essentially downwind shapes which have been shrunk down a bit in length to make them a bit more manageable for wingfoiling. Over the years, as soon as we had the downwind boards, we realized when we were winging with these downwind boards that they were super efficient and could get you up on the foil very quickly as compared to your traditional wide boards. But they were very long. So what we've done with the mid-lengths was to shorten them down a bit, but sort of keep that thin but long shape. Now, what we have here on the Superfly is a compact mid-length. This is a great concept from Andy Wittmann, making that mid-length just slightly more user-friendly by adding a little bit more width into it and making the tails a bit more square. This makes it a lot more suitable for wingfoiling, as it gives you an even more stable platform than your sort of standard mid-length, and doesn't really sacrifice so much on low end. So this is one board solution for riders looking to maximize their low end without too much compromise on the high end. If we look at the bottom, it's a very clean hull. We've got quite flat all the way through. We have got actually sort of a very shallow bevel. It's probably quite hard to see here in the light, but on this section here we've got a slight chamfer bevel along here, and you've got the chamfer running along the rail all the way back and sort of progressively running out towards the tail, whereas the inner chamfer runs all the way through. This gives you a very nice, sort of stable and progressive roll, and will also prevent hang-ups when you're carving through the water. But it keeps that flat section, especially towards the tail, to give you sort of maximum board speed and a very clean release when you take off. This is to help you position your mast the same place every time, and it will give you good reference. We always recommend to people to start at the 0 mark. All our plates have a nice little line drawn on the plate, which denotes the center of the plate. And then you start at 0, and then if you're a heavier rider and you need more front foot pressure, you can move it forward. And if you're a lighter rider, you can move it back. Or if you feel that you want less front foot pressure, you can move it back. So we've got fairly long 32 centimeter tracks, so you've got quite a lot of room to tune the boards to how you like it. Another thing to mention, as with all the Indiana boards, we have a decent amount of tail rocker. The board doesn't go completely flat towards the back. The rocker line goes back progressively towards the back, and then there's always a curve going harmonically through the board to the nose. This allows the board to release cleanly off the water, as compared to a board that's completely flat on the rocker line on the back, which will stick as it rises up. Having a bit of tail rocker will always allow the board to slippery slide out of the water without any resistance. Those really light wind days, especially on lakes where you got a bit of inconsistent wind, we have got the Early Bird. This is your sort of more standard mid-length boards. This board features a slightly different rail than the Superfly. It starts with a concave rail at the tail, which progressively goes to a sort of flat rail towards the nose, and right at the nose the rail goes completely round, and that roundness in the nose allows the board to displace cleanly and fast through the water, which will allow you, when the wind dies, to still stand on the board and go upwind, and maybe even if you get a lucky gust, get back up on the foil. Again, we've got our 32 centimeter Leotech tracks, with our position markers. So for heavier rider, more forward, lighter rider, more back. These are in our typical sort of durable construction. As with all wingboards, we've got V-straps that are included with the board, the croc skin pad. This is actually a great thing, especially if you're wearing board shorts or a shorty. This doesn't tend to burn your knees when you're sort of rubbing along it, but it gives you an amazing amount of grip. There are 5 foot strap positions on it, so there's more than enough to tune the board for it. Again, the deep concave we have on here allows you to get good foot purchase, so if you're riding strapless, you're still going to have a lot of control over the board. Here we have the Flow freeride boards. These are the new freestyle and wave boards in our range. These are shaped and developed by me on Fuerteventura. We made a few changes to the design compared to last year. We have gone, first of all, you'll notice that I have gone away from the concave rail to a more like traditional sort of flat rail. This gives you maximum stability, and this gives it a bit of a cleaner release. To compensate for having like that lack of a concave in the rail, I have pinned out the tails a lot more. So the tails are very thin, not so wide compared to what they were last year. This allows you to carve very hard without hanging up the board, but also gives you a full rail shape in the back, which gives you a little bit more traction on release, but also gives you more stability again. These boards are geared towards the more advanced rider, especially if you are freestyling the compact shape and standing quite close to the center of the board, not so far back on the board, allows you to do spins, back rolls, and so on quite easily, and also get that board flying again once you land.
Well, you guys see things are moving and shaking here thanks to Gunnar, athlete, board shaper, and overall waterman, Canary Islands. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you in the next video.